Welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation page. If you're new to the page and you enjoy this sort of content, then please subscribe, follow, drop a like, drop a dislike. If you think the shit's stupid, drop a dislike. Put drop a comment down below and tell me what you think. Uh, it helps to stimulate the algorithm, which will help to get my content out there. So please do that if you like this sort of stuff. Today, I'm going to hit you with how it all got started, a tweaker tale, I guess. How I got started in the illegal substance game, if you will. So it's probably 1990. I'm like 17 years old. And my dad was buying and selling cars off the curb, doing some minor repairs and making some money that way. So I got pretty good at it and had 3 or 4 cars out in the driveway. And the DMV shows up and decides that what I'm doing is not lawful. And it wasn't, tax evasion, no dealer license, all that sort of stuff. So, I can't necessarily argue that. But now I just lost a good source of income. Well, my sister started dating this cat, and he's driving a brand new IROC, and I know he's in the game, but I don't really know anything about that at this point. But I know, I want a part of it because I need to make more money, and um, I see what these guys in the hood are doing. They got the cars, they got the females, and I want in on the action. So I approach my sister's boyfriend and tell him, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what you're doing, but I want in. Put me up. So he's at the house this day, and he tells me, um, he says, I'll shoot you some weed. Go in the house and get a bag. Now, I'm so naive. I come out with a brown paper bag, a Stater Brothers bag. And he looks at me like I must be fucking stupid or something. But, he probably gave me an ounce or two of some pretty good weed. And when he gave it to me, he probably had like a 5-pound bag of this shit. And I'm like, wow, like I'm just blown away by this shit. So, I bag it up, not having a clue as to what I'm doing. And see him a couple days later. He's like, were you able to get rid of that stuff? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I sold it all. And he's like, well, how much money do you make? I think I made maybe $100 or so. Like, I couldn't believe how quick the shit was selling, but that's because I was giving him too much. And he said, oh, man, that was worth twice as much. But what did I know? I had a little money in my pocket, and he says, I make these runs to Vegas every week. If you want to drive, I'll pay you $1,000 a week, and you be the driver, basically. So now I'm in the transportation game. Here we go. So no idea really what I'm into at this point, but now we're making weekly runs to Vegas, and I'm making $1,000 a week. All my expenses are being paid basically, plus the money. I'm 17, 18 years old. Fuck, I'm on top of the world. Got a 9mm in my pocket, and I just think I'm the shit. So we continue this for a while, and one night we're Well, there's a couple of nights, a couple of weeks in a row where we had some close calls. Uh, Apparently, the guy I was running with was beefing with his brother because they were jealous of each other and how much money they were making up in Vegas. So we were headed out in a mini truck, if you guys remember those. It's like a Mazda B2200 or something uh, with the fat rims and the camper shell and all the sounds and shit. So we were supposed to head out in that, and we made it 2 or 3 exits up the road and it started overheating. So we had to turn around and grab another vehicle, which ended up being the Camaro. And dude had told me he was beefing with his brother, so really didn't know what to expect. But as we're pulling into Vegas, there's 3 state troopers sitting on the off ramp watching the cars come in. They were looking for us, but the fact that the mini truck had overheated saved our ass on that one. So that happens, and that's kind of sketchy. But fuck, I'm like 18 years old. You know, I could give 2 fucks basically. I'm making all this money, so the next week we're on the way up again, and we got like 2 pounds and a gun in the car, but it's put away in the stash, and we're approaching state line basically, and as we're approaching state line, there, keep in mind there's no traffic out there at all. Like it's, this was 89, 90, so it's a little different back then. I want to say it's like Thursday night or something. So no traffic. Like I always kept it under the speed limit. I had a license and all that shit. But we get a California highway patrolman, and he gets behind us and stops us. Now, I want to say it was like a 65 zone, and I'm doing 60 because I know we're dirty as hell. And last thing we want is police activity. So he pulls us over. It's cold out there. It's late, probably 2 in the morning. And, I asked the cop, hey, why'd you stop us? And he said we were obstructing traffic. Imagine that, not a car to be seen, but we're obstructing traffic. I have a feeling he got a tip. But so now he's got us out there sitting on his bumper, and he's just going through the car looking for something. And, it's got to be 40 degrees out there or something. I'm fucking sweating bullets. I've never been this close to prison at this point in my life as I am now. And this cop is saying, you know what? You're getting ready to cross state lines, and like he's feeding us all this shit. You're gonna go to prison for 20 years if I find anything, and I'm just fucking tripping. So the cop couldn't find anything, but he says, you know what? I'm gonna call for a canine. My heart dropped. I'm thinking my life is over at this point. Interstate transport at 18, like, where does this go? So he goes to put the call in for the canine. We're sitting there talking back and forth. Like I said, I'm shitting bricks. I don't know what's about to happen. And looks like you're going to have to come back for part 2 to see where this one goes. Like I said, if you're new to the page, please subscribe. Hit that like button and leave a comment. And I'll try to have part 2 out maybe tomorrow.